Okay, welcome to the Self-Signed Certificates Demystified presentation. And I am in Palmer, Alaska. That's a view from our backyard. That big building in the foreground there is the Alaska State Fair. And this should not be a mystery, but it is, okay? So I do pro bono work for public charities. And I was upgrading our pre-production environment to Windows Server 2025 and ran into some problems. And I thought, well, misery loves company, and all software engineering people, we thrive on abuse, right? So I said, well, I'll get my buddies at Microsoft involved here. I have a Microsoft Visual Studio subscription, so I pay $799 a year, and I get 2 free tech support tickets. So I said, hey, we'll get these guys involved. So this started way back February 11th, and then on the 4th of March, we got it resolved. I'm sure no one's ever seen that before. But problem number 2 is what we're going to address here, that the self-signed certificate is not being recognized and we're getting an error, okay? And also the folks at Microsoft Tech Support, they were great. They demonstrated professionalism, diligence through this whole thing. You could see even after March 4th, we met several times. We had all these correspondence, had about 3 or 4 screen sharing sessions, and we could not figure it out. And finally I did, right? And that's what we're going to look at here. So I have this procedure out on my LinkedIn, and so if you want this, go to my LinkedIn page here, Conrad Krenak. I have a very unique name, so you're going to find that easily. Then scroll down here. In this document right here, Self-Signed Certs Demystified, docx, get that and you'll be able to follow along and cut and paste right out of here. All the pain and agony that I and my team went through will save you all that. So here's what we're getting. Let's open this up in Firefox here. So I'm on my PC, okay? And this website is running on, okay, I'm going to show you that this actually is not working. We had something in cache there. I'm going to clear that. And now when we come back here, let's see if this should fail now. Yeah, we get the warning message, okay? So, this is only an annoyance, right? But we want to be professional, right? So you can go ahead and click advanced here and say accept the risk and continue, and the website works perfectly, okay? But that's the problem we're trying to get rid of. We don't want to have this ugly warning message. Important note here, self-signed certificates, use them for development, test, pre-production. Do not use them for production. Okay, they're just not safe enough. Okay, then I went to CoPilot and I asked them, okay, how do I use a self-signed certificate? Because I couldn't get this to work. And it gave me a procedure, and it was about 80% correct, and it was missing some very important components, some very important items. And I have those listed here in red, okay? So we're actually going to go through this, do a demo, and see how this works, right? So the first thing you want to do is run this script in PowerShell, okay? And this subject right here has to be the website name that's in your IIS binding, okay? What's that? Well, let's take a look. Let's show you in living color here. So now I'm on our server. This is our pre-production server, okay? And if we go to the website here. This is the one that we're going to secure with a self-signed certificate. If we look at the bindings here, that right there has to be the same name that's there. CoPilot didn't tell us that, but through some trial and error and some blood, sweat, and tears, we figured that out. So what you do, and anything that's in green, you have to change for your own environment. Obviously, you're going to have a different website name. You're going to have a different folder name down here. Okay. You need a password, but the password isn't important. It's just so that we could create and import the certificate. All right, so let's go ahead and actually run this step. So back here on our server, you can see here I just created a little text file here, and I pasted everything from that Word document into here. Another important item here, put the date. All right, the date is going to help you when you end up having a lot of different certificates. Having the date, this is just on the certificate name, is going to be very helpful so you're not mixing things up. Okay, so you have to run this as administrator. That was one of the things CoPilot didn't tell us. And I've actually put that all into here, okay? So let's actually do this again. I'm going to get everything here. We'll copy and paste this into Windows PowerShell. And if you want to know how to run PowerShell as administrator, you just go to Windows PowerShell, you right-click, run it as administrator. We got that here. We're pasting in more than one line, so you just have to say paste anyways. Okay, and we see that it created our PFX file. So this is the certificate. That got created. That's an old one. I'm going to delete this one. Okay, so that just got deleted here, March 27th, which is my birthday. Happy birthday to me. All right. Okay, so we've done the first step. Next, we're going to import the PFS certificate into IS. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is IS Manager, Connection Pane, Server Certificates. So let's do that here. So here is IS Manager. In the Connections pane, you click on the server, then double-click on Server Certificates. Okay. Then you do import, and we're going to go to that cert that we just created here. And there she is. Open, and then we need the password. Let's cut and paste the password. I do not like typing. So we're going to get that password. We're doing this step now here. Action panes, import. And we're going to finish this up here on the server. So here's the password. Another thing that's a little detail that CoPilot didn't tell us, you have to change that to web hosting. Okay. And then you click OK. Right. And you notice here, we're going to continue with the directions here. A cert may have been automatically imported as personal certificate store. We should delete that one. Okay. So back to the server. See that one here is personal, right? Goodbye. We don't need that one. Next, we need to bind that certificate to the website. Okay, so I'm going to show you all these steps here on the server. So now in the connection pane, open up sites, and this is the website that we're dealing with. And we're going to go into bindings, okay? And You may have to do add here, but either way, you're going to get this. Okay. HTTPS port 443. There's the host name. Okay. You must check that. Got to check that. Another little detail. And now we're going to find that certificate that we just created and review it and go into details. This is another little detail that has to be the same as your name in your binding. Okay. So, and then also you have these subject alternate names, right? But those aren't important. This is the critical important item. So we're going to do okay there. All right, so now we've got the certificate created. We have it put on the server, and we've bound that certificate to the website. So back to our instructions. Okay, we did all that. If you have an HTTP binding, remove it, because that's not secure, right? You should only have an HTTPS binding, and that's what we have on the server. Then we have to add the server or the certificate to the cert manager. Okay, so this is still on the server. So we're going to go through all this procedure here. We're going to do this right now. So this is a cert manager. If you don't know how to run that, you can do this and do or window R, and then you could put that into here. Okay, certmgr.msc. Okay, well, I've already got that open. Okay, so here's a personal certificate store, and you right mouse click and you do import. Just take the default there. We do next. We're going to go to the cert that we just created. And it's not there. That's because down here you have to go to PFX, and there she is. Okay, we'll go back to my PC. Again, I don't like typing. Okay. And this is a password that is just used internally. It's not a problem that people know what this is. Okay. It's never going to be used except for these imports that we're doing. Okay, so next, and then it's saying it's putting in the personal store, which is what we started with up here. And next, and finished. Okay. Import was successful. So we see this is here, right? And again, we got our date there. That'll provide a lot of sanity for you if in the future you're wondering, well, when did this happen and which one is it? Okay, having those dates is really helpful. Now we're going to do the same thing. We just did the personal. Now we're going to do the trusted root certificate authorities. We have to import it into both. So this is the exact same thing. Find the file again. That's our certificate, PFX file. Cut and paste our password. Okay, in this, I have this in the instructions. Just say yes, we don't care about this warning. That was very misleading. That had us on a wild goose chase for a while. Okay, now that was step one. We're done with the server. Now for any PC workstations where you want to connect to our pre-production website, we have to do the same thing that we just did, but we're going to do it on the PC workstations. So this is our server. That's our RDP session, but we're back here now on my PC. Now, we have to get that certificate that we just created from the server onto the PC workstation. Several ways of doing that. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy the file. This is the certificate, the PFX file. And I have a network share here, and I'm going to paste it into here. Okay, now back to my PC workstation. Okay, there it is. And I'm going to copy that over onto just any old local directory is fine. So I'm putting it in D Conrad OK to delete. Once we have these imported to everything that we need, we really don't need the PFX file anymore. Okay, so here we are in Cert Manager. And again, you got to run this as administrator, okay? So the way I did this, run as administrator. Okay, so here's our personal certificate store, and we see we don't have the 100-fold, we have 100-fold PC, but not 100-fold pre-prod. So we're going to do the same thing here. And import. Next, we're going to find that file. Let's see if I still have that password in there, and I don't, so we'll go get that. Copy and paste. Okay, and we see that we have it in there, and we have the date, so that's great. Going to do the same thing in the trusted root certificates here. So import. Okay. All right. Back to our instructions. So we've done all that. And now, I actually discussed this with the folks at Microsoft Tech Support. So the PFX file, it contains a private key, okay? And generally, you should have private keys only on the server, never on the PC workstations, but you need it, okay? This is okay because this is not a production website. I may try in the future to get another file type that only has the public key and see if that still works. But Microsoft said that you have to have the private key on the PC workstation. That's a bit extraordinary. And of course, I ask these type of questions because I'm a CISSP certified type of guy. But again, I'm not really that concerned about this because this is not production. If you haven't set up your host file, I just have this in here, that you need to have your host file set up. And I think I've got that here. Yeah. So there is the entry. This also has to be run as administrator, okay? Whenever you're configuring cybersecurity, when in doubt, run as administrator. Okay. And this is the website, and this is the IP address of my server. We're running IIS and the website. Okay, now here's the big moment of truth. So remember, we were getting that warning message before, and this should now work. Now, before I click this, right, we did this on one of the screen sharing sessions that I had with my buddies at Microsoft Tech Support, right, and it didn't work. And so we all, we were looking at it, we double, triple checked everything. Didn't work, right? So we all had to sail off into the sunset, admit defeat. And the reason was sometimes there's a delay, okay? That IIS somehow delays propagating things over the network. We're not really sure. But anyhow, let's try this and let's see if we get that warning message. And we don't. Ta-da! So there it is. That works perfectly. Couple of other comments here. We thought that we needed to have a certificate authority, okay? And CoPilot said you don't need a certificate authority, right? When I asked that question one day, then another day it said you have to have one. So we actually went down that rabbit hole in that wild goose chase, but you do not need a certificate authority. And just a clarification before we close here, that CoPilot is excellent. We use it all the time. We're very pleased with CoPilot. And right now I'm going to close out our tech support ticket here at Microsoft. So here we are. New message. And resolved. Please see the solution and the attachment. Thanks to all the Microsoft Tech Support reps that participated. You were all highly professional, patient, and demonstrated technical excellence. Yes. Okay, well, I hope you had a great time as I did with this. So thanks very much. Happy hunting. And now you have everything you wanted to know but were afraid to ask about how to configure and use self-signed certificates on non-production sites.